When we first started planning our trip to Southeast Asia, we had booked Airbnbs everywhere. We thought Airbnbs would be obviously cheaper and more convenient to stay, and we wanted to have a kitchen, laundry access, and things like that. And so that's why we booked Airbnbs for months at a time. Airbnbs seemed more cheaper, more local, more flexible, more convenient. But after our first Airbnb in Da Nang and another one in Kuala Lumpur, we started realizing something surprising. People automatically assume if you are staying in a hotel for a whole month or more, it's automatically means luxury travel or it's gonna be super expensive. But what I'm gonna share with you today might prove you otherwise, and you might consider just staying in a hotel or several hotels throughout your whole trip or time and travel in Southeast Asia. The cheapest option might not be the most convenient or stress-free ones. And we traveled to other places while we were staying at that Airbnb, staying in hotels for a few nights, and I really saw the difference between the Airbnb we were at versus the hotel experience we had when we were on shorter trips. The hotels just seemed more convenient and also a lot more clean and just a lot more comfortable. Like the bedding was more comfortable, the mattress was comfortable. Of course, the advantage of having your own kitchen, but some of these hotels, they even had free breakfast and their own lounges if you have statuses. Even though we thought, hey, if we have our own kitchen, we can have our living room and all the stuff. Most of the other hotels we stayed at had all the amenities, even more amenities than the Airbnb we had. The Airbnb we had in Da Nang was super close to the beach and one of the prime locations, just walking distance to the beach. And that was the main thing that attracted us to this Airbnb. Plus we thought we can, cook and prepare small meals. But once we got on the ground, we realized food is so affordable. We were hardly cooking inside anyway. We were mostly eating out. Most days we ate out 2-3 times a day. We didn't really cook much, so we really didn't need a kitchen. Same thing for a lot of the other Southeast Asian countries, not just Vietnam, but Thailand, Malaysia, and Philippines, all the other countries in Southeast Asia. Majority of them is going to be super affordable, and you may or may not cook at home because it's almost the same price and sometimes even cheaper to order in or just go grab a food down the street than cooking it. We loved Da Nang, loved the location. The only thing we realized was if we had a better accommodation, it would make our experience in Da Nang so much better. Because of where we were staying at in Da Nang at that Airbnb, it really felt like that kind of put a damper on our experience. It wasn't bad, but it could be better. We realized it could be better, and as far as cost, there's not a huge difference, but the quality of life and the convenience we would get, the feeling of peace and consistency and just at ease and comfort we would get from staying in hotels was definitely much more worth than just saving a few $100 a month. And that's all we were talking about between Airbnbs and hotel stays if you use points and hotel statuses like I did. Airbnbs vary huge on a scale of it could be amazing with an amazing host, great facility, amenities, to it varies a lot depending on who you're booking with and what kind of accommodation it is, and it's not as consistent as a hotel chain anymore. And you can kind of expect, hey, I can expect kind of this kind of amenities and service from this hotel chain or this level of hotel, this category of hotel, where Airbnbs, you really can't expect. Even if you paid for cheaper Airbnbs and more expensive Airbnbs, we had bad experiences with cheap Airbnbs and we had unpleasant experience with more expensive Airbnbs as well. So it was very hard to predict whether it's going to be consistent or not. So that's one of the big reasons the facilities and amenities in hotels in Southeast Asia are just so much amazing. One of the Airbnbs we had, the amenities were amazing. It is high-rise, outdoor, rooftop pool, gardens, amazing gyms and sports places and yoga. It was absolutely stunning, close to a public transportation. The apartment was decorated cute and tastefully, had all the kitchen and bathroom and things we needed. The only downside was it felt like it hasn't been cleaned in 1,000 years. I'm not even kidding. And that was just a no-go. And we let the host know immediately that after we checking in, we found there's layers of dust and everything was dirty. We couldn't use the shower or anything. It was bad. So they sent somebody to clean it, but the cleaners spent there 2-3 hours and left everything still dirty. In fact, we cut our stay short and moved to a hotel because it was so bad. It was very unfortunate because the building was amazing, the location was amazing, the amenities was amazing, the decoration was super cute. It's just we could not stay in a dirty, I have dust allergies, and anyway, it was just very, very unpleasant experience. So we switched to hotels for the convenience, the consistency, and the peace of mind, knowing that, okay, at least this is what we can expect in Southeast Asia from an IHG chain, from a Hyatt chain, from category 1. This is how it's going to be. From category 4, this is kind of level of service and convenience we can expect. And they were consistent throughout. I spent, I don't know how many hotels in Southeast Asia, and they're, for the most part, very consistent, where at Airbnbs, we just couldn't find a consistency. Sometimes it could be good, sometimes it could be bad, sometimes it could absolutely be terrible, like that one was super dirty, we couldn't even use the bathroom, and it was just bad. And once we run the numbers on Airbnbs versus hotel, it was only a matter of a few $100 a month. And hotels, you don't have to pay for water, you don't have to pay for electricity, you don't have to pay any extra. Or Airbnb in Vietnam, we had to pay extra for electricity, and it was metered, and we were running the aircon nonstop 24/7. And so our electricity bill, it was reasonable, but it could be like, we stayed in hotels, it was just included. That was part of it. Plus they provide breakfast, they provide a lounge. So the upsides in hotels just went up and up over time, and it just didn't make sense to stay at Airbnbs anymore. So that's why we switched to hotels, and I have not looked back. I am not looking to book any more Airbnbs anytime soon. I am looking to check out more hotels and expand my hotel experiences more. If you're using hotel points, and if you're buying, let's say, IHG points at 50 cents a point during the 100% bonus sales, it becomes a lot more reasonable to stay at hotels rather than Airbnbs when you're traveling on a budget. Your breakfast is covered, your housekeeping is covered, your utilities covered, sometimes dinner and drinks are covered, and all you're spending is lunch. And it's consistent, it feels less stressful. My husband and I are getting older, and we are looking for a certain kind of comfort that we didn't care about when we were, in my 20s. I don't want to do that anymore. I want a certain level of comfort and consistency and convenience and that sense of peace, and I want less stress. It brings less stress to deal with the inconsistency, having to message the host to come make it right and fix it and all this stuff. It just made more sense to go with hotels than Airbnbs. And the other advantage of hotels is if you book it with points, you can cancel it within 48 to 24 hours before your stay. So it's always fully refundable. There's no taxes and fees when you're staying at hotels, where if you pay cash or pay for Airbnbs, now there's cleaning fees, there's insurance, there's booking fees, and all this other extra BS fees get added on. So by the time you compare the convenience of what you get out of hotels, it's a game changer. If you want to know how much it cost us for a whole month in hotels in Thailand, check out my other video. Hope this gives you a new possibility of what you can do for your budget travel in Southeast Asia especially. So do drop your questions in the comments, and I will see you next time.